after a couple of weeks, I finally got this video together and I hope that you will find it informative. So basically, the title says it all. This video will give you an idea of how to solo hunt those 3 Eidolons in the plains with any Warframes. Take note that the things included in this video will be those things that will ensure you that each fight will be easy, and you will capture all 3 Eidolons in the end. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe by simply clicking that big red subscribe button below if you want to check out some Warframe guides and other games in this channel, and please give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Okay, now let's begin. The first thing you should know is the weapons needed in solo hunting Eidolons. Take note that I will be showing you a rivenless setup here, and based on my experience, Rubico Prime is the best when it comes to hunting down those trees. This sniper rifle has a massive critical chance and critical damage multiplier, which is basically 1/2 of the key components for Eidolon hunting. The other thing is radiation damage, because the Eidolons are weak against this type of elemental damage. For the mod setup, I usually go with this build: Serration for damage, Point Strike for critical chance, Vital Sense for critical damage, Split Chamber for multi-shot, and then Hellfire and Stormbringer to form the radiation damage. Now, I did add vigilante armaments on this setup not just to increase the damage, but also help the Rubico Prime somehow do orange grids. The trick to having 60% chance for improving critical is by adding this mod on your Rubico Prime, then equipping a Sentinel which can equip the other vigilante mods on its weapon. You can go with any Sentinel if you want, just be sure that it can equip these mods to further boost the critical of your Rubico Prime. Another good source of critical is the Adasa Kavat with its Cat's Eye buff. This can also help you do more crits without the help of Riven mods, but I would advise you to use this companion while you are hunting with frames that have high health and armor. This way, you won't need to revive your cat every time it goes down in the hunt. This is the advantage of having a Sentinel with vigilante mods, since the buff does linger even if the Sentinel dies. However, Adasa Kavat does give a more reliable critical chance buff whenever the Cat's Eye buff proc. Getting back to the Rubico Prime build, I also added Wildfire for more radiation damage, and the extra ammo capacity does help out in solo Eidolon hunts. And lastly, Ambush Optics is just an optional mod. It does give Rubico Prime quality of life improvement since the scope will be further away from the target, giving you enough sight on the limbs and the Eidolons itself. Another weapon which is great for solo Eidolon hunting is the Sapo with the Shattering Impact mod. By the way, the rest of the mods in this weapon are optional. As you can see, they are all attack speed mods, as you don't need anything but attack speed and this mod to strip the armor of Eidolons. So Shattering Impact is still working with the Eidolons, as you can see with this scanty list having no armor at all. However, I don't advise you to do this, as overstripping the armor won't do anything but make the fight longer if you modded your Rubico Prime with radiation. It's true that you can strip all armor of the Eidolons and just go for electric damage on your sniper, but the thing is, radiation does hit harder than this element. I suggest that you do not overstrip the armor. To make it easier, you should just hit the Terrorist 20 times, the Gantialist 21 times, and the Hydralist 24 times. Okay, now let's discuss the amp composition and the best focus school. For my Eidolon hunting amp, I'm using Balor's Got No Balls with the Proper Scaffold, Certus Brace, and the Rapplic Prism. Certus Brace is the meta right now, since it increases the critical of the amp by a lot, which is the main reason why players can take out the shields of Eidolons fast. Pair this with Proper Scaffold, and you can release a ball which travels 2 meters, then explode upon impact, which can deal 2k or even 4k damage to the shields of Eidolons. The Rapplic Prism on the other hand is purely optional, and you can choose any prism that you like. However, I love this prism because of its accuracy and long-range attack. It helps me proc Virtuous Shadow easily. Just aim for Eidolon heads, and shoot it with the Rapplic Prism to proc this arcane and gain more critical chance for your amp. In terms of operator arcanes, I usually have these arcanes, but these are also optional. Most players go with Magus Husk and Magus Vigor for more operator health and armor, but honestly, it doesn't matter now because the only thing that is very annoying in the Eidolon hunts right now is the self-stagger mechanic that this amp has. Proper, and as well as the past meta, Shrux and Scaffold both now has self-stagger mechanic, which is kind of annoying sometimes. The only thing you can do is go void mode with your operator to not get knocked back by the stagger effect. Moving on, the best focus school for solo hunting right now is the Madurai Focus to help you disable the shields of Eidolons fast. You need to have Void Strike so to increase your Void damage. But squad leader, what about the Eidolon lures? You have said in the past that if I go Eidolon hunting casually, I should always have Vazaran to help the lures survive. Well, that guide is outdated. This archwing is the key to keeping your lures alive while hunting solo. It seems like Benevolent Decoy does heal the lures, and it's the best when it comes to keeping them alive while solo hunting Eidolons. By the way, I hope Timothy the Necramer Clover is watching this. Here's my clunky level 2 cornbot holding an ancient insect repeller on hand. I hope you are happy now. Let's get back to the video. So I was saying, a meteor is the best thing you should have in solo Eidolon hunting to help you keep the Eidolon lures alive. However, there are limitations to what this archwing can do. First of all, it can't withstand Gantilist's Star Prism attack, or those lasers raining down on you. Don't let your lures sit on these laser beams or they will be gone in a matter of seconds. Even if you deployed Benevolent Decoy, other attacks coming from Eidolons can be healed by the Archwing ability. Just don't overdo it. What I mean by this is, don't use your Archwing all the time to keep the lures alive. Benevolent Decoy protects and heals your lures, and the best way to utilize it is to just use it whenever the lure's health is below 60%. This will save you time in Eidolon hunting, and as well as energy in recasting your Warframe abilities. Remember that your Warframe abilities will reset once you deploy your Archwing, so, use it wisely. But squad leader, what about the magnetic damage of Eidolons? That can be taken care by Arcane Nullifier. This arcane is pretty cheap right now in the market, and you can buy a full rank of Arcane Nullifier for only 50 to 60 platinum. That's a good long-term investment, since this arcane will help you negate all magnetic attacks of the Eidolons. I'm not saying that you won't get damage, but this arcane will negate that effect wherein your energy will be gone if it will be hit by magnetic procs. Another good arcane for solo hunting is Arcane Momentum. It sells for about 20 platinum in the market, and mind you, this is already a max rank Arcane Momentum. What this arcane does is give your Ubico Prime faster reload speed, which obviously will increase the overall damage per second output of your sniper. Now we are almost done with the guide, and there's only one thing you need to know about solo Eidolon hunting. Just like I've said earlier, this guide is meant to give you an idea of the setup I'm using to solo hunt Eidolon using any Warframes. I know some of you already got the idea watching the previous clips, but for those who have no clue yet, then we will be using the Helminth system. There are two options that you can choose from, either Rhino's Roar or Mirage Eclipse. These two can help you get more weapon damage, but Mirage Eclipse is the best right now, and it's way better compared to Roar in terms of Eidolon hunting. Are you joking, squad leader? No, I'm not. You see, Digital Extremes updated their lighting mechanic, and now, it seems the Mirage Eclipse can use the moon as the source of light, which will proc her damage buff. In fact, her damage buff is very reliable right now, and I suggest that if you want to do some Eidolon hunts with your frames, then try out Mirage Eclipse in one slot. Except if you already have a damage buffing ability, of course. If that happens, then Oberon's Smite, with the Smite Infusion Augment, is the best fit for you. Let's take for example Grendel. You might not think of him as a great Eidolon hunter, but with Mirage Eclipse, you can make this frame do solo Eidolon hunts. But for those who are keen on being efficient and farming those sentient cores and arcanes from the Eidolons, then the best solo Eidolon hunter is Volt. In the past, I was using Oberon, but after I discovered Benevolent Decoy, I switched to Volt, gave him Eclipse, and farming those arcanes, sentient cores, and shards are far easier right now. By the way, if you want to ask something about how to build your frame into a solo Eidolon hunter, then just ask in the comment section below. I will try to answer all your Eidolon hunting questions there. But I hope that this guide has taught you enough to build your own Eidolon hunting setup. Thank you so much for watching. Squad leader signing off.
This is the future. Human error. Evolution. This is the future.